All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Great Teacher Onizuka, Episode 7.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the Parent-Teacher Conference has gone over smoothly.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
to Yoshikawa and
Kikuchi.
Yes. Now we don't really know what is next on Onizuka's plate. There are still some students that might be problematic, you know. Little Miss, all bad teachers should just kill themselves, you know.
Also you have Fuyutsuki, who's, him and, Onizuka and her have
they're a little
their little bit of romance thing
flirting,
going on,
you know,
flirting
whatever,
and
yeah,
stuff.
all that stuff.
You can see more development of that.
Right, and by development we mean, of course, Onizuka making a fool of himself.
Right. We have a vice principal, aka Mr. Cresta,
yes.
who is constantly dealing with his family issues and his automotive issues.
Which will, of course, all be solved by just having a nice car. That is how
yes.
you win the hearts of your family.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
But other than that, looking forward to more zany antics.
Yep,
So,
yep. And some wholesome lessons.
So without further ado, let's get into this. Every time they do the crotch shot of him zipping up, I'm just like, yeah.
Well, and every time they do anything with, like, text in this opening, it looks like it was made on, like, old school Windows Movie Maker.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it might actually have been.
Who knows, yeah.
Yes.
And they're, like, really proud of that effect, you know?
Uh-huh. Well, and the water.
Yes. Lash into the roller morning flash. I'm in the coolest driver's high.
Onizuka in houses.
He's like, class meeting. This cannot stand.
Shikuker.
I wonder if that was an advertisement or not. Yeah, he's interested in a different age range, you know, different demographic. Oh!
What did you say?
He's like,
Oh
shoot! Oh my gosh, wait, what the heck is...
What? You blend right in.
Oh my gosh!
I love it.
Oh,
And she's right in
yep,
front of
she's
you.
right there, yep. Classic. Oh!
Awesome.
The real thing!
I like her already.
I love her, yes. Oh my gosh, he's gonna freak out. Ah! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
He's having a picture
Yes,
frame.
yes.
Oh yeah, talk. I love the corny music and everything. Oh, putting his arms up behind his head. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
So let's take everything off. You know, by doing the picture frame thing, though, they're kind of making the connection that he's similar to Onizuka.
That's true. He is a blonde. He's a delinquent. You know?
And he made some pretty crazy faces there.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
Oh. Wow.
Wow.
So he just wants the date. Yeah. Oh! Yes, that would be quite painful.
He handled it pretty well, though.
Yeah.
Considered.
Okay. Oh, she's going out.
Oh boy.
And she looks good.
Yeah.
Ah! His whole world is just crumbling around him.
Wait, he's gonna follow her, isn't she?
Oh my
it's gonna be the
gosh, you're
classic,
right.
like, following
You're
thing, except
right.
instead of it being someone he has a crush on. Yep.
Yes, yes.
And he called
her mother.
Already talking about him.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, wow.
No wonder she's so tough as nails.
Yeah. Dang. That's understandable.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but he can't hear.
Okay, okay.
I mean, he's technically right. But...
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Crap.
That was totally something Onizuka would do too. Just be like,
Oh, no. No, don't be like this, Onizuka. Ooh. He's so innocent, he doesn't know.
because he's like, what, 15, you know?
Or like 14 or something. I mean, yes, I guess he has.
They're in high school. This is high school, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
It might be junior high, though. That mustache! Yeah, just disgusting mustache. Okay, well,
No sign of Onizuka. That's
yeah.
good.
But this has kind of been his life, you know. He feels like he has to he has to protect her, and
right,
and then of course then he doesn't really trust her just as much as he doesn't trust the other guys, you know.
Yeah, that is good. I'm just a,
Dang.
just a rumor.
Nice idea.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good man, Kunio.
Yep.
Good man. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Just on the school grounds.
Ah!
Oh,
Oh! Oh crap!
he's being intentional.
Oh no! He just turns around.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Oh my god.
Of course. Yeah, that makes a lot.
Yeah, that
more
makes a
sense.
lot more sense. Yeah. Impressive.
A fated battle between men.
He's like, here I come. Nani? I love that they're actually animating the race, you know? This has got... Wow.
Teacher Onizuka, obviously.
Obviously. Finish.
So this is what like early CG looked like in anime.
I mean, it's not bad.
それじゃあ約束通りデートに行かせてもらうぜ。分かってくれたか。
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
あら。
Wow.
誰がてめえなんかと握手なんかすっかよ。
Hey, he's doing whatever it takes.
Yeah.
なあ村井、ちょっとやりすぎなんじゃね
Haven't we?
Just a little too far,
Haven't
yeah.
we displayed though that Onizuka is strong enough to punch through like metal?
He's
and,
coming.
like,
He's
wires?
coming.
Okay. There we go.
Yes! Yes, he is a monster!
While carrying that thing.
Oh my god, they're gonna bump into her.
boy.
Oh no.
He just doesn't ask questions. He's just like, okay, what's going on?
Oh my god, he just went right past them. Ah!
夢はどうも。
こちらこ
そんなやつと口聞くんじゃねえよ。勝負に負けたことを認めようとせず、都合が悪くなると逃げ出せ。
Oh, he is running away, that's true.
お前の大嫌いな大人そのまん
Yeah.
まだろうが。
Oh, that's bad.
Oh!
Oh,
Onizuka! Onizuka!
wow.
They broke the
That's a
handcuff?
convenient,
Yeah, landing position, yeah.
ほらよ、誰かを守るってのは命がけなんだぜ。
Whoa.
半端
Yeah.
な覚悟じゃ務まるもんじゃねえんだよ。さてと。デートに行く。
How did he unlock that?
じゃあお母さん、今日はこれで。
そいってらっしゃい
Wait,
No way.
wait.
デートって誰と？次は
あ
お前の母ちゃんだ。
Yes!
題してデート型家庭訪問お母さんと一緒
Okay.
I mean, if it's just,
Right, right.
you know, yeah.
みたいなもんじゃないそれじゃ親の本音は引き出せないって思ったんじゃない
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
変わった先生だよお酒を飲んだのは最初の店だけであとはずっとあんたのこと話してたんだよ
Wow.
This music sounds like Mofu.
信じられっかよ。
Oh.
鬼
Like,
塚だぜ。
I've noticed that
あの
before,
変
but
態スケベ教師
I
だ
wonder if
ぜ。
that like
母
inspired.
ちゃんの体だけが目当てに決まってんじゃねえかよ。
Get wrecked. Oh.
あんたいつからそんなゲスな考えするようになったんだ普段がどうあれビシッと決めなきゃいけない時にビシッと決めるそれが本当の男ってもんさ
Or she just finds it very, you know, touching.
Right.
俺絶対認めねえからな。
Guy's gonna run away. You know?
お村井。
So maybe he's partially learned something. You
Right.
Know?
It's the first step. You
Yeah.
know, it's a process. Nice.
Oh.
That was great.
That was a fantastic
That was
episode.
awesome.
Like the comedy elements.
Oh yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
mixed with the the wholesome part of like she had to raise him
Oh,
as a
yeah.
13-year-old single
Yeah.
mom. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
that's insanity. And okay, but so what I find really funny about this is that the whole time there's this whole complicated mess of, you know, Leon basically saying, "Hey, you know, stay away from my mom," right?
Right.
Or, not Leon, but point
Kunio?
is
Kunio?
Kunio. Yes, that's right.
Or Murai. I think Murai is the last name.
Yeah.
Kunio is the first name.
Yeah, Murai, yeah. But the thing is that Onizuka, if he had just thought about it for a second, he could have just been like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going out on a date with your mom." Like,
But I think he likes in some ways messing with them because it's
sure.
something that it really gets inside their heads and lets them know there's someone above you. Like you need to respect that I'll do what I'm gonna do, and you can't
Right,
stop
right.
me. You might not like it, but eventually you'll understand why I do.
Yeah, the
it.
only thing you can control is how you respond, not
Exactly.
what actually happens.
He's working his way through the class too. I mean,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, working pretty well so far. I love this show. This is a great show.
Great. That was awesome.
That was a wonderful episode.
Like it wasn't as extreme, I feel like, as some of the other ones, probably because it didn't focus on Onizuka as much.
No, it didn't.
It gave the perspective of this other guy,
Kunio.
Yeah, that's right.
Or Kunio.
Right. Yeah, one of those. I think it's Kunio. Yeah.
Yeah, Kunio.
But like that's a great way to basically introduce us to the character of this new kid.
Yes.
Because a lot of the times, or not a lot of times, what they've done up till now is that they've basically established more of who Onizuka is and how he deals with issues, right?
Right.
And then the kids are just sort of brought along for the ride, and we get to see a little bit about them, but not as much. It sticks, for the most part, to whatever particular problem they're either causing or dealing with.
Right.
But by shifting the focus onto Kunio for this episode, since we already know how Onizuka does things, I feel like we have, he's the second strongest connection point we have to a student, after, of course, Yoshikawa.
Oh, I'd say Yoshikawa's... Oh, to a student. Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I was going to say Yoshikawa's is the biggest. I think the big thing that they did this episode was they shifted perspective to making Kunio, in some ways, the protagonist, albeit a flawed protagonist.
Right.
And Onizuka, in his mind, is like this predator that he needs to protect his mother from.
Yeah.
And by doing it and setting it up that way, they're preparing us to have our expectations subverted because we assume we know exactly how Onizuka does things. But by the end of the episode, we realize, holy crap, he didn't even care at all about any kind of physical aspects of the relationship to begin with.
I mean, or maybe he did, but that wasn't what he was going for,
No. I'm getting the vibe that in some ways you could look at him going on a date specifically with this hot young single mom as a way that kind of forgets who Fuyutsuki is. And she was absent this episode. Basically saying that he's the kind of person that is more, polyamorous or whatever. He's just like, I have tons of open relationships and stuff, and it's totally fine. But no, actually, he went about this as a thing of like, yeah, of course I'm going to enjoy spending time with a beautiful woman.
Right.
But in terms of why he's doing that, he's doing that actually to be a great teacher.
To get to know the person. And,
just to be a great teacher. The show title, basically then get in some ways an in on his students so that he can understand them better by interacting with the mothers.
Yep.
And it's hilarious because in some ways, yes, it totally appeals to his more
picture frame
nature,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But all those picture frame moments were from Kunio's perspective, which is something we haven't seen in the past. It's generally something where if they show it from another person's perspective, it's something that... Or did we see it from the vice principal's perspective once?
I don't think so. The vice principal was in one of them at
one
point.
Right.
But anytime they did a picture frame, that was always from Onizuka's perspective, which is another way to reinforce the notion that Kunio and Onizuka are actually very similar. Not just the fact
the blonde bastard.
Right,
he's blonde,
because, one, Kunio is like the only blonde dude in the class. Mm-hmm. But... yeah, just the fact that they both get very angry about things and all that stuff and make funny faces, and then also picture frames, I
think the picture frame will be used in the future
for
if
other
it
characters.
Hasn't been already for other characters.
I
it's
totally
just the
see
show's
that.
medium to showing internal thoughts as a
Right.
more story-based format insteed of if they do this, then they'll do this. It's more of no, this is the play-out scenario.
Yeah, showing their mind just, no.
And now this is the thing.
He takes the baseball bat. And
yes, but Kunio's story, I think is very is a very good one to bring up in this early in the show, because the point of Onizuka and him being a teacher is that he wasn't happy with the way he was brought up. And he wants to make sure that as many people as possible, like that, or like him, don't have to deal with that, and they can go through a situation where their teacher will be supportive and someone that would help them and stuff. And you look at Kunio, and we don't know really Onizuka's parents or
Right.
backstory and really much other than he was in a gang.
Yeah, we know that they're
we had
not
some
really
old friends and
present
stuff.
right now. Not
Right.
that they would have to be, because he's a grown man and all
Well, yeah,
that.
he's a grown
but-
man. They
but,
could be anyone
Yeah.
or anywhere. But the thing I think that's really cool is that this is someone that could have ended up, I think, in some ways like Onizuka, but we
Sure.
see in some ways how Onizuka kind of interfering where he doesn't need to ends up being something that, I don't know, it's giving an opportunity for Kunio to change, and
Right.
it's something where his direct, brash nature, Onizuka's, is something that gets at Kunio. Like he doesn't really respond well to the kind of passive aggressive stuff from the girls in the class, like Aizawa and
Right.
and all them, and yet his kind of desire, I'd say, to kind of control things, like you see him yelling at the class and everything, being like, hey, this is what we're going to
Sure.
do, and someone's
Right.
like, I'm not sure if we need to worry about that, and
Right.
he's like, no, you will do it.
Uh-huh.
Then when someone else basically comes and starts kind of trying to direct things with him, he freaks out and is
Sure.
like, no, like, So I think in some ways, Onizuka's already won the battle for Kunio.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be a matter of time as he's willing to
Open
listen and open up.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
it's
And that's
pretty cool.
And that's one of those things where the very fact that Onizuka is able to get to know the parents very well one-on-one
Yeah.
is going to be vital, because now he knows, okay, these are the kids I'm dealing with,
Right.
Like so the fact that, Kunio will still be all baka, for probably a while.
Right.
That's fine. He knows what's up.
I also love how he's taking advantage in some ways of how that he's an adult, but he's also a young adult. So he bridges the gap that these teen boys and girls aren't able to, of where he can speak both languages. He can
right,
speak
yes.
both teenage kid, stuff, and go and play their little motorcycle arcade game and just destroy them. And then he can also go and talk in a more mature, direct-ish route.
Yeah.
Well, I
Right.
would say more direct is the main point.
Sure.
Is that he's, he's being, I would say, it's a sort of respect, basically.
Yeah.
That they're then, I kind of received that in some ways. And also, in the other way, I think you brought up before the episode, was that they've seen him, or at least probably most of them have seen him at the parent-teacher conference. Right. And maybe those that didn't, like Kunio's mom, are then just able to get a fresh impression off of him, not based on rumors or things that kids spread, which is funny because that is a childish thing. Generally, adults don't care about the opinions of others overriding the actual actions that they see put in front of them.
Right.
So just because they've gone through that phase of where rumors and gossip mean so much, it's like, well,
Exactly.
no, look, this person just saved my life. They literally risked their life to save mine. They care enough about you to ask about you to me.
Right.
Like it's the kind of thing where the only time I think during the episode he might have broken character with that was when he did the dumb rhyme.
Oh yeah.
And also the mom kind of looked at him like, hey, what the hell? Like he's being sweet. He's trying to look out for me and stuff. You don't need to act like a kid there. And then
Exactly.
There's those moments where Onizuka's like, he's kind of straddling the line of being an adult and a kid. You know?
That's I think that's sort of part of the package deal that that in some ways might be a little bit reassuring for the other people, like the parents and stuff.
Really?
Because then they can be like, oh, gotcha, I understand this dude. Like they know exactly how he falls in the middle between the two, and that while he has his moments, he's still just as much of a kid. So that might mean that he will actually be able to connect with them in some way that a teacher normally wouldn't.
That sounds like something I think a way more like open-minded person would think, and most people in general aren't open-minded.
That's true, especially when it comes to their kids. So
yes.
Most people, once that happening, they just be like, okay, who are you, asshole? You know?
Yeah, I think the main thing that's kind of that kind of contradicts that is that he still has the role. he still has the role of a teacher, and that
Yes.
that deserves some respect. And I was really impressed with how she was like, hey, don't call him that he's a teacher, show him respect and call him by his honorific title and stuff like that. And that's something that, while he might do little things or say things in a specific way that sound okay, he's not like a normal teacher.
Right.
His actions can back up the fact that he is within this role, and his goal overall is to help and better educate the kids. And so I think that was the big twist of this episode, was that when all was said and done and the dates were, through and through, and he's on to the next mom.
and he still put perfume and cologne on his crotch.
That is true.
Like he treated it absolutely like, prepared for it and everything as if it were
right.
a date.
If things went that way, I think he would have been totally good with it. But the thing is that was not his number one goal. That was his number two goal.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing to bring up, though, is that I think I can overlook that some ways and be like, well, it's not like he was thinking about it at all. It's like, no, he was thinking about it a little bit. He is a guy who's 22 and single, so let's be real.
And we've already established that his drive to reproduce is fully functional. And
his drive is driving, like it is.
Yeah.
It is in sixth gear or whatever, like constantly. Just, oh my gosh. Okay, please stop. All right, guys. This is a great episode. I think the cool thing is that we now have a mini arc in place as to what the future will hold. They don't have to do this, but they could now have him going through a lot of the moms, basically.
Yeah, and they don't have to go through everyone. They can just go through a few, but like for instance,
time skip through like 17 of them.
Yeah,
or something.
But like one of the ones that I'm really interested in hearing about is Aizawa, because Aizawa semes to be the one that they're building up as like this supervillain at this school.
Like, she is terrifying.
Like that's fantastic. I love that they're throwing in some little bit about her in every episode, it seems.
Yeah, and she seems like the one that said, those kinds of teachers need to just go and kill themselves.
That was her. I don't think there are really any
because
other...
whoever it was had dark hair.
Well, black hair specifically.
Yes.
And I don't think there's anyone else in the class that's a girl that has black hair that we've seen so far, or that's gotten any real focus.
I think of the girls that got scribbles on their panties and stuff. I think one of them had dark-ish hair but didn't have true black hair.
Right, and it wasn't like,
sure.
And if it was, it would have been like short black hair or something.
It's also something that's kind of interesting that this show's doing relatively well is trying to keep the character designs somewhat different, because it's basically saying every student in the school is relevant, is a relevant character at some point,
which is really hard.
That's really hard to do
because
they'll just start looking the same,
right? Because they all have the same school uniform,
right?
How different? Like one of the things I noticed about Aizawa is that they kind of gave her an Aizawa-looking hairdo. Is in that even though it was long black hair, it was kind of messy.
It was messy. That's true.
So that maybe that like is giving us a hint into her character, possibly,
sure.
and like maybe a bit of her backstory and what her deal is. But that's why
calling it right now, abusive dad. Just physically,
sure.
Physically or verbally abusive. Not anything sexual. But I'm just saying that like,
love it.
That's what I'm saying. So it ultimately boils down to a fear of basically what men in power can do to you. So she fights back really hard, like really.
Right. Yeah. And
that's going to be really like a good way to empathize with her.
Oh yeah. And it'll also give Onizuka a very direct way to potentially.
Oh shoot! Her. You mean like he could just come and be like, "Hey, you, come out and fight me 1v1, bro."
Now those things get very complicated, so that might not actually be
right.
Good thing to do. But
I mean, he could bring in cops too, or something.
But that's one of those things where I really want to see what the date is like with Aizawa's mom, or if it's
that'll
a
be
single
the
dad
twist.
or something.
Is that she doesn't have a mom?
Yeah. I could totally see that happening. In which case, that would be that's something that I would hope is not skipped over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, guys, This is a great episode. I think that most of the discussion is basically covered, so we don't want to go over to redundant stuff and everything like that. And there's not really much to theorize other than what we just talked about here.
Right.
So, like, don't get us wrong. Like, when there are good episodes like this, we're going to, like, hit all the discussion points and things like that. It's a very funny episode. A lot of ridiculousness and stuff. Oh, yeah. But yeah, if you want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access where you can chat with us about stories or just whatever. Anything that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.